So, Mr. Scott Bowser, what are we doing today?
Say we're doing a video on Mary Hogan, Ed's first victim that he shot. So we're going to be going on gravesite, visit it, film it. Then we're going to go to her property where she was actually murdered. And we'll also be going out to Ed Gein's property today. Should be a good day. November 16th, 1957, Ed Gein was caught for the murder of Bernice Warden. The CSI team from Madison came up and went inside the house, and they took all the body parts that were left over, the skin mask, the lady's vulvas, the nose, all the face masks, everything they took down to Madison to basically be processed and put away as evidence. But back in 1962, the judge overseeing the CSI department released all the body parts, and they're actually going to incinerate them all that way. And a priest came around and said, no, we got to return them back to the ground. So they were released to the town of Plainfield. Now, they did not have DNA processing back then, so they couldn't tell who was who. So they basically decided to put it into a mass grave. And the mass grave was here in Plainfield. Now, last summer of 2023, a lady named Amy contacted the Washoe County Museum and Historical Society, and it turns out that Amy was Mary Hogan's granddaughter, and she wanted to know if they knew where the location of the grave was. They did not, so they contacted my friend Keith up north, who lives up by Escanaba, Michigan, and asked him if he knew where the grave site was. And he said he also did not, but he knew that it was here in Plainfield, in the cemetery. So Keith called me up and asked if I could try to find the grave of Mary Hogan, the mass grave. And so I took it upon myself, went down to the Washoe County Courthouse, and went to the Register of Deeds and got out the plot map for the cemetery here. And I looked down through the whole cemetery, listings of all the people that were buried here, and I found one site that said, in memory of the unknown dead, 1962, right next to it. And it said by the flagpole. So that's how I found the grave. So I immediately jumped in my car, headed for the cemetery, and here I found it. So this is the mass grave site. It has Mary Hogan in it, the skin suit that he made, all the face masks, the lampshade, the chairs that he made, everything is buried right here. This is the site of the Foxhead Bar. This is the bar that Mary Hogan owned back in the 50s. This is also the spot where he did kill her. He shot her in the back of the head after a bar closing one night, put her in the back of his truck, and took her home. And that was the last we heard of Mary Hogan. This is the property of Ed Gein. Back in the day, the house would have been off to my right over here, and the front of the house would have faced Archer Road. The summer kitchen would have been back over here, and back over there would have been 2 barns that he used, and this would have been the entryway he brought Bernice Worden through on the last day, November 16th in 1957. Well, back the popular belief was Henry Gein was killed on this property. I should say he died when they're trying to fight a brush fire. That is not true. Henry Gein actually died on his property, which is probably about half a mile down on the road on the right on the corner.